Good morning, Leothred. And what's the conclusion of the story of Theodwyn?
Kendrick let it be known that the Eotheod had need of broader fields in which to roam.
The legacy of Theodwyn Stormbrow was a seed planted, and that seed came to bear fruit near the end of Kendrick's rule. There Kendrick let it be known that the Eotheod had need of broader fields in which to roam. He even discussed with Kirion, steward of Gondor, the possibility of finding land somewhere in the south. Somewhere in the south, yes, where you eventually landed, I
I
guess.
am now well rested and ready for the day ahead.
Yes, until now, we have only briefly touched upon the Myras, yes, usually with disaster. I wish to explore the bond between the Rohirrim and horses. One could say that it started with the wanderings of the Athuda. I would argue that it was the taming of the Maras that created the real bond that I and my people have had with horses. Come, let's find this bond together. Oh, I mean, someone's actually going to succeed in this task? Apparently, this location is significant in some way. What's this place about? The Aethys fortune drew unwanted attention from the orcs, who raided farm and village alike for shortly for after Kendrick's death. Yeah, orcs like to do that. Is it significant that we're following this road towards the south? Kendrick's son, Harda, was past his prime as a warrior, and he fell in battle only 3 years into his rule. Yeah, that's orcs. And even further south. Is this their seat or something? Well, let's see what this is. Harda's son Leothid, however, was much more formidable and broke the orcs in the battle outside the gates of Fromsburg. Ah, so this is the seat, I guess, if this is outside the gates. Hailed as a hero by his people, Leod sought to prove his worth, as his forebearers have done, and tame one of the Maras. However, the attempt ended in disaster, though he lasted longer than any before him, and the horse bore him far. It at last threw him, and Leod's head struck a rock, killing him. They are certainly persistent, isn't that the case? And oh yes, of course. One dead Rohirrim king, or Eothred king, and one Maris acting all nice and innocent. Now what's in this set of ruins? Up the stairs. This looks like something very important. Pineleaf, let me tell you one of the most important tales told in all of Rohan about the history of my people. It is a story of a pivotal moment for us, about the son of Leoth, a lad of 16 named Eor. Oh, yes, he is very definitely pivotal. Very pivotal.
Hot-headed and brash, Eorl witnessed his father's death and vowed to avenge him.
And what would he do to avenge him?
Eorl, with bow in hand, ran into the woods.
For days Errol hunted the Mara, bow at ready, his friends always close behind. I will avenge my father! Ah. Errol, you're going to kill the Mara? Please, Errol, let's return home. There you are! When he got to within shooting range, his anger cooled at the sight of the steed's beauty. Errol stood up and called out with a loud voice. Hither! Come hither, mansbane, and get a new name! The horse heard him, and to the wonder of those who watched, it looked towards him and seemed to know him. The mare came to stand before him. Rather than seeking to force the beast to its will, Eros simply held out his hand and let it bow its head to touch him.
All right then.
Where before the lords of the Aeltheod, even mighty Leod, had sought to break the Maris, Eor had treated his father's animal as a friend, and it had met him in kind. Felaroth I name you. The name meant strongest in his tongue. You loved your freedom, and I do not blame you for that. But now you owe me a great were-guild, and you shall surrender your freedom to me until your life's end. Then Errol mounted him, and Ferlof submitted. Errol rode him home without bit or bridle, and he rode him in fashion ever after. Then Ealhtheod marveled at the sight, and spoke of Errol as being worthy of a crown, but he demurred.
And that is the end of Eorl's tale.
And the end of the quest, finally, to ride one of the Maris. And now we finally come to the bridge between the Aertheod and the Rohirrim then.
That is the tale of how horse and rider became one.
The tale of the horse and rider was the foundation of all of Rohan, laid right here. Now, long ago, after the fall of Wilderland, Maria the Proud had declared that no leader of his people would be called Lord until the Aeltheod had come to their proper home. The Wells had seemed so in the time of Githzeleri and the others that followed, but now the Aeltheod needed more, and until they found it, Errol would remain simply Master Errol. And here we go. Well, that's quite a interesting. Good. See Gandalf right there, who's of course also noted for writing Shadowfax.
The Maras ever after allowed only the greatest lords of the Aeltheod to ride.
The Maras ever after only allowed the greatest lords of Aeltheod and their sons and daughters to ride them. I believe there is one exception to this in all history. Do you know of the horse Shadowfax? Yeah, I think I just talked about him. Yes, the steed who has come to be a companion of the wizard Mithrandir. Shadowfax himself is a Mara.
Our time researching the Aeltheod nears its end.
Yes, this joyful finale as the signal of the birth of the Oriolengas. Let us continue. Let us continue. And then what happened next?
A man in green came to the wells, bloodied and exhausted from long riding without rest.
9 years into Errol's rule, a man in green came to the wells, bloodied and exhausted from long riding without rest. Borundir was his name, and he was of mixed Dunedain and Thuda blood. Kirion, steward of Gondor, had sent him as one of the 6 errand riders in search of aid from the Northmen against an army of Orcs and Baalkoth, Easternings who had come to invade the South Kingdom in force. Yes, I think I've heard this story before. From a different point of view. Will you aid us? Well, we know what his answer is going to be from Eor, considering that I've heard a similar story on the field of the Celebrant. Ooh, it's an interesting piece. A relic of some sort. Within the ruined halls of Fromsburg lie many forgotten relics of the Eotheod. You should collect any relics that you find in Leothred. He will surely want to study them further. Yes, I suppose he will. But we also have these places of history to study. Brondir alone survived the journey, bearing the seal of the stewards and a bloody arrow to show the direness of Gondor's need. Errol knew the time had come. The Eotheod will come to your aid. You have my word. Well, and they managed to keep that word. But while I'm going on studying history, might as well also study a few relics, because there seem to be a few of these scattered all over the place. Now here's a particularly interesting relic. A silver horn. Sounding the silver horn that Fram had brought forth from Skatha's horde, Errol called weapon-take of his people.
The arrival of the Eotheod at the field of Celebrant helped win the day and defeat the hosts of the east.
The arrival of the Eotheod saved the South Kingdom from ruin. As thanks for their aid, Cirion granted to the Eotheod the lands that Lord Kendrick had spoken of, and which Errol's ancestors had desired since the fall of the Wilderlands. These were the green fields of Calenarthon, now all but emptied of the Dunedain's numbers dwindled. Swearing an oath of fealty forever to Gondor, Eorl accepted Cirion's offer and sent riders to summon the rest of his people to join him in his new realm. Henceforth, the Eotheod were known as the Eorlingas, would dwell in the Riddermark of Rohan, and Errol and his descendants would be their kings. Let us return to Helstead, Pineleaf. It has been a long day. Yes, I'll return just as soon as I find a few more of these relics. I hope that these relics prove of interest. Good work. Thank you, my friend.
I have traced the history of my people as best I could.
There. I have traced the history of my people as best I could. I have filled in the gaps from the Aethuda to the Eotheod and their journey to Rohan. I could not have done it alone. I thank you for your assistance many times over. You are free to leave me here if you must. Yes, I have writing to do, and there is not a better place to write all this down than near the ruins of Fromsburg. There are gaps yet to fill in the tale, this much I can see. I'm still puzzled by many of the old tales and songs. What about the worm, Skatha, that Fram fought? Fram's deed will need uncovering. The dwarves in the mountains must have played their part in the history of the Eotheod too, yes? I have much to think about. Perhaps I could call upon you again soon? Until then, my friend, farewell. Until then, farewell. Ooh, this is nice. Well, I'll have a look at this. I presume that means that there's nothing left to do but to report back to Grimbjorn.
What news have you brought me from Limrock?
Ah, there you are, Pineleaf. I've been wondering when you would return. What news have you brought me from Limlock? I see. It seems that you and Skarding were able to protect the Floodfells from the forces in Mist Hollow. That's good. I will make sure that needed supplies are sent to Limlock immediately. I also see that your efforts of the Sundagrot with those doors prevented the Gundabad forces from claiming even more of the mountains. Well, I do not much care for dwarves, but they did save Voskorn's life. For that I'm grateful. Now, I have given much thought to their request. While I will not send my people to foolishly fight for treasures and riches, I will see to it that we assist them when the time is right. I will know that when it comes. The North is my home, and I know when it is true danger. Oh, and I hear the Threckmoth. So much bloodshed. Please light a candle for the elder, and give my word to the dwarves that the Bjornings will not let him down. Light a candle for Threckmoth at the Carrock. Yes, sir. Back to the Carrock. Back to the Carrock is the home of eagles, where we will light another candle for the fallen. Grimbjorn says that he won't foolishly throw away his life, but he will be of assistance when he feels the time is right.
To tell you the truth, I was expecting Grimbeorn to never answer our request.
Yes, these are dire times, and there is no one else to whom we could turn to in the north. I'm very glad that he responded and gave us his word. That will boost the spirits of Skarhald indeed. Now then, my friend, we have been through an ordeal or two together. What do you say about one more? Let us return to Skarhald. This time, we will not trudge through the Taragrim-infested woods, however. Let us take the path from Mist Hollow to Ered Mithrin. It should be less treacherous now that the trolls have been dispersed. A good place to rest? Yes. We're about halfway there now.
We can take a short break here. Let me know when you are ready to continue.
It's a longer journey, but uneventful, thankfully. We can take a short break here. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
The dwarves Ruzat, Agathur, and Nath take the pass from Mist Hollow to Ered Mithrin, unaware of what awaits them.
Uh-oh, that sounds ominous.
I am ready. Let us continue on the path to Ered Mithrin.
Let's continue. We can only hope nothing untoward's happen and that we get there successfully. Not much further now, my friends. Good. Yes, I know how far it is, Ruzat. And should I be the one that says, are we there yet? Well, everything looks fine so far. Hold on a moment. Maybe I spoke too soon. Ah, another break! Great idea! No, I hear something. Orcs! A troll! Ha ha! What fills that? Now then, I see more than one of us. You're outnumbered, Grubrush. Goobrush, we are here to serve. Let us defeat this filth together. Now then, Dwarf, what did you say about being outnumbered? Maybe, maybe not. Roar! Let us fight! Oh, this is gonna be quite a... Let's see what we got here. Whoopsie daisy! So we're gonna have quite a battle here then. Dwarves, eagles. I think I heard a a Bjorning in there somewhere. And we gotta kill this goblin. Rohirrim. Oh, come on! Ah! He's gonna be annoying. Quit doing that! Ah. Alright, ooh, boy. Now, Mr. Annoying, we take care of him. Quit the healing! This is a tougher battle than I was expecting. Mainly because of that. Fine, you're going down now. All your friends are dead.
Now then, let us make for Scarhard.
Yes.
I do not think I would fare well in any further ambushes today.
I would not think we would. It's a good thing we got to that one. Yes. Oh, that was quite a journey.
Thank the skies that Funglind and Skarding came when they did.
Yes, we would not have reached Garhald alive. That much is certain if they hadn't arrived. I do thank you again for your assistance. If it were not for you, we would not be returning with this news. I'm certain that these tidings will lift spirits and certainly finally unite the dwarves. Then perhaps we will take action against Gundabad, because it's no longer a question of just taking Gundabad. It is a question of getting there and surviving whatever nasty is within it. But this is just the beginning of the story. The beginning of the story of what we'll do in Gundabad. The beginning of the story of what happens in that region. It is the beginning of the story of the Legacy of Durin.